just get straight into it. Introduce to people who you are.
My name is Andre Norman. I'm a motivational speaker and crisis manager from Boston, Massachusetts.
So, talk about your experience of growing up and then going into prison.
Well, the main reason I went to prison is I didn't listen to my mother. It's real basic. She told me everybody not to hang around. She told me everything to do. I did the opposite, and you name it. So we grew up in the hood. We grew up poor, whatever you want to call it. But that's not the reason I went to prison. I went to prison because I refused to listen to the people in my life who try to give me instruction. In the third grade, it was Miss Oliver. In the fourth grade, it was Miss Ten. In the fifth grade, it was Mr. Bevilacqua. In the sixth grade, it was Miss Ellis, my music teacher. I go down the list. Mr. Herman, my math teacher in the seventh grade, and my track coach. Miss Morris, my music teacher in the ninth grade. Miss Duval, my ninth grade drafting teacher and leadership coach. I can give you a list of 20 or 30 people who did their best effort to give
Yeah.
me positive direction that I just refused to listen to.
Wow. That so after when they gave you your sentence, you were originally sentenced to how many years?
I got a 7 to 10, two 9 to 10s, two 10s, two 15 to 20s, and a 5. And when I was in prison, I got convicted twice of attempted murder, got 2 more 5s.
So while you were inside, when you first started your sentence, how was it in the system?
My first day in prison, people need to understand prison is not about you, it's about it. And you become part of it in the beginning because you don't know any better. So my first day in prison, I'm in the new man unit, there's 12 of us, 6 on each side. And the guy from the building behind me yelled over, hey, who's over there? I'm like, yo, it's me, Dre. It was one of the homies. Yo, man, is John over there? I'm like, yeah. He said, well, I see y'all when y'all come out, man. Get him to come out. Tell him we're waiting on him. So I yell over to John. I'm trying to get John. Yo, we going out, man. It's going to go down, man. The homies is here. John figured out the guy that was calling for him, he testified against. So John ran down to the captain, told the captain he had testified against this guy as a big gang leader. They took him out of the prison immediately, shipped him out.
Yeah.
Had I convinced John to come to population, John would have got killed that first day. And I'd have been a conspiracy to murder just because I was in the wrong cell. I'd have walked in 24 hours and had a murder charge.
So you would have
that's prison.
You would have had way more time.
I would have walked in it because once all the investigation's done and people get to telling whatever they're going to do, it'd have been the guy in that block, called the guy in that cell being me, and he convinced the guy to come out. So now I'm conspiracy to murder.
Wow.
24 hours in prison, that was my welcome to prison, is I almost got a murder case.
Wow. So when you started hanging out with what you thought were helpful people in your life at first, such as the gang members, and you were also a gang member in there as well.
When I got to prison, you can call it that. I mean, we in Boston, we call it neighborhoods. So there's no known national gangs. I won't say a name of anyone particular. So in the 80s, there was no Crips, no Bloods, no GDs, no Vice Lords. There was no national gangs. It was like, what neighborhood are you from? I'm from this neighborhood. Well, you're with them. And that's how that used to be. And then it was like, I'm maybe mid 90s or late 2000. I don't know when the gangs came, but they weren't there in the early 80s. It was just, what neighborhood are you from? And that's it. You're from Rochester. The other guy's from Buffalo. Other guys from New York. This guy's from Albany. It used to be that in Massachusetts. The neighborhood, it wasn't, you could call it as a neighborhood gang, or just because you're from this neighborhood, you hang out with these guys because you all went to the same schools, know the same people.
Yeah.
There was no handshake, no colors, no rags, nothing like that.
So the famous story that you have out there is the cheeseburger situation, where you had a guy make you a cheeseburger, and people were trying to block you from getting the cheeseburger.
There was one guy. I'm saying there was one guy. I got hungry, got up, walked down through like 5 or 6 doors, got down to the kitchen. And I told the dudes to make me a cheeseburger. And then they're cooking, and the guy comes out of the kitchen. He starts yelling at me like, hey, what are you doing in my kitchen? You're not dressed well. And he's screaming and yelling. I said, listen, man, stop all the screaming. He says, who are you? And I told him I'm the regulator. That was a song out at the time by Warren G. He says, what do you regulate? I said, if you go home or not. And we had a discussion about, listen, dude, I'm just trying to eat. I need to eat today I can kill you, go to the hole, and come back and eat in 7 years. But either way, I'm gonna get a hamburger. I can get it today, or I can get it in 7 years. You make the call. I ain't a tough guy. I'm just hungry and
Yeah.
patient. And he looked at me. He didn't realize that prisoners run their prison. At least we did in the 80s.
Yeah.
He said, make him 2 hamburgers. And he ran in his office. But prison in the 80s was different than prison in 2000s. Definitely 2025 and beyond. So it was a whole different world. There was no cameras. There was no money. There was no mass incarceration. It was probably less than 800,000 people in the country locked up, if not 500. So now it's skyrocketed, quadrupled. It was just a different era and a different time. And the people were different. When I got to prison, there was guys above me who were older than me, and the guys above them were all Vietnam vets. They were all war veterans. So you had a whole cadre of war veterans. These guys had went to war and fought in Vietnam for years. And that was hand-to-hand combat. That was a lot of stuff. And they came back, some were addicts, some got caught up, and they all came to prison. So they had a code about how they lived. You couldn't scare them, you couldn't chump them, you couldn't bully them, you couldn't nothing them. You stayed out their way because they killed for a living before they came to prison. That was their job, killing people. So when they walked around, it wasn't about a tough guy. It was just that's what they did. They were killers. They were trained killers by the U.S. government. So everybody respected them because of who they were and how they moved. And they said, these are the rules. They set the rules. And then now you fast forward, I came in, I'm generation removed from them. You go up 2 or 3 generations, all those guys are gone. So now it's the baby kids or the kid of the crack mom or the kid of the drug era who had no training. In the 80s, if you wanted to sell drugs, somebody had to teach you.
Yeah.
In the late 80s, early 90s, crack came out, everybody was a drug dealer. You just hold it like this and people buy it on every corner. So people who knew nothing about the street were in the street. So if you knew nothing about the street, you weren't trained in the streets, they end up in prison, you don't know what you're doing. When I started selling weed in the 6th grade, I remember the guy I sold for told me, if you get arrested, they're going to take you to the police station. They're going to do this, they're going to do this, they're going to do this. By the time I knew the whole drill. So you couldn't scare me and we're going to give you 1,000,000 years if you don't tell. If you've never been locked up and you've never been told about it, and you're 14, 15 years old, you got some grown men intimidating you and pressuring you, you're subject to cave. It's not about you don't know what you're doing. But back when I grew up, we got lessons of this is what's going to happen from the time you get in that car to the time you get to the courthouse and you go to your arraignment. I knew the entire layout. So you couldn't trick me or scare me into nothing. But the kids nowadays, they don't get training, so when they get grabbed up, that's why you see them in the first 48. They got them in that little room. They're trying to talk their way out of it.
Yeah.
And the more you talk, the deeper you sink. I didn't know. I got in there, shut up, and sat down, ate my egg sandwich and my coffee, and waited for my arraignment, and waited for him to show up and pay my bail, and he did. And I went home.
Talk about some of the trauma that you went through as a kid growing up.
My biggest trauma would be if I had to pick all of them. I had a ton of them. In the 1st grade, my dad left the house. Him and my mom couldn't get along, came home one day, dad's gone. And what that taught me, unbeknownst to me, was that quitting was okay. Because if I registered, my dad quit on us, so quitting is okay. So I subconsciously became a quitter.
Yeah.
So I tried for band. If it didn't go my way, I quit. I was on a track team, I quit. I was in leadership programs, I quit. I was exchange student, I quit. Everything I ever got into, I quit. Because if it didn't go my way or the way I wanted to go, I quit. It wasn't until I was in therapy and I was in counseling in prison. I went to mental health counseling because I had mental health issues, being that I was acting extremely violent. That's not normal. So my counselor finally figured out, he said, I got it. You're a quitter. I said, what? I'm the most go-hard dude in the penitentiary. I run through brick walls. You got me totally twisted. He said, no. And he pointed out, everything I ever signed up for in my life, I quit on. He said, you got that from when your dad left. Then I could make the correlation. Then we started working. It made sense. Then my counseling centered around me being a quitter and why.
Yeah.
And once I got that out of the way, then there was nothing I couldn't do because I was never going to quit again.
How was your mental health at that time?
Mental health, I mean, mental health in the sense of I'm not drooling, I'm not doing anything like retarded. My mental health was I thought hurting people was okay. I thought me staying in prison for life was okay.
Yeah.
I thought me keeping my milk in a toilet bowl to keep it cold was okay.
Yeah.
I thought making sandwiches on the back end of a metal bed with a heater was okay. These are the things that I thought was okay.
Yeah.
That's mental health. You ain't got to be drooling and twitching and stuff to be crazy, but have issues. My issues weren't. It was like, yo, let's go kill somebody. All right, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's not normal thinking. Agreeing to go hurt somebody and getting more time, spending 2 or 3 years in solitary confinement, and all the things I was putting myself through was not normal. It's not how normal people function.
Yeah. So talk about that wake up point. And when I say wake up point, I'm saying you was already doing prison time for years, and you finally figure it out. I'm done with this. I'm going home because they gave you what about 100 years.
It came up to 105. I was supposed to do like 28.
So what was that wake up point for you? Were you like, okay, no, I'm getting out of this situation?
I'm in solitary. I've been in there for 2.5. Situation happened with some of the homies. I was going to respond. But before I could do it, I had a moment of clarity. I said, dude, you're fighting to be the #1 guy in the prison system, top gang leader. And I'm about to get it. I saw it for what it was. I said, I'm about to become the king of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it just became so crystal clear. Because I'm about to become the king of nowhere. And this is all fake. And the whole prison thing is fake. I mean, in the sense of we think we're winning. We think we're earning stripes. We're getting status. We're not.
Yeah.
We're not. And I could see it for what it was. And I said, I don't want to do this. So I went back to my cell. I said, well, if I can't be a psychopath, why be in prison?
Yeah.
I said, well, what else can I do? My first thought was I wanted to get free. So I want to be free. Forget this. 6 years, I never said free. First time I said free. And I realized free is a parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
You can say free for 10 years. As soon as you hit the parking lot, you've achieved your goal. Then
Yeah.
your mind says, now what? You didn't plan for beyond that. You've only planned to reach the parking lot. That's why so many people go home and come back because their goal was freedom.
Yeah.
Goal achieved, first 10 seconds. Then after that's over, they have no plan, so they go back to what they know. So I had to create a plan beyond the parking lot. I said, I don't want to be free. I want to be successful. That's why I said I'm going to go home and go to Harvard University, and I'm going to be successful. End of story.
So you went to Harvard. You graduated from Harvard.
No, I got recruited to Harvard Law School by Dr. Charles Ogletree, and I was a fellow at the Harvard Law School.
Okay. So talk about that experience and how educated you became.
I mean, I tell people all the time, my son included. My son's in college right now. He's in his 2nd year. People don't go to college to get smart. They go to college to know how to leverage what they already know. College will not make you smart. It'll sharpen up what you are. They always say money will show the real person.
Yeah.
College will give you a chance to find and expose the real you. What you're really great at, how to streamline that, whatever you love. You love science. Go to the science building, there's 100 kids sitting there willing to talk science with you. You love math. Go to the math building, there's 100 kids willing to talk about equations with you. You love music. Go to the music department. Whatever you love, there's a group of people there who love it too, and they'll sit down and talk about it for hours with you. They might not be your best friends. They might not be where you're from and look like you, but they love what you love. And college gives you the chance to be in a room full of people who are going to challenge, grow, and build whatever that thing is that you love. And that's what it did for me. When I went to college, it wasn't about getting a degree, or it was about being around a lot of like-minded people.
Yeah.
Because I got homies who don't like communication. I'm a communication expert. I'm a strategic planning expert.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk about that. They want to talk what they like. So you got 5 friends who get together who all like something different. So you take turns trying to put your thing into people who don't really want to hear it.
Yeah.
So when you get around people who love what you love, you can talk about it for hours and develop different ways of doing the thing that you love.
Absolutely. Your first 5 years home, what did it look like?
First 5 years home. My first 90 minutes, I left prison went to the parole office, then I went to a juvenile center and started talking to kids. That's the first thing I did. 90 minutes after I left the parole office, I didn't go get anything to eat. I didn't go see my mom or my girl. I went to the juvenile center. I started talking to the kids. And because I used to run a program or work with a program in the prison, I used to bring the kids up from juvie.
Yeah.
And we used to run the program. Kids would come up once a week. We talked to them. And when they found out I was going home, the kids were like, hey, Dre, will you come see us at the juvenile center? I was like, sure, you're right in the hood. They said, because all the guys in this program talk great information, then they go home and we never see them until they come back to prison. So when I got out, I kept my promise. I went to the juvenile center. Like, OG's home, OG's home. I gave my speech, they clapped. And one of the kids walked up to me and said, hey, will you come back tomorrow? And I did that for like 2 months. Then some of the caseworkers came and said, hey, we got some girls upstairs. Will you talk to the girls? And I was like, hey, we got some white kids out to school. Will you go talk to the white kids? It's like, hey, we got some teachers. Hey, and I just became a youth trainer by default. And it just all started with me keeping a promise to one kid.
Wow.
My whole career is built on a promise I kept to one kid.
Amazing. So talk about working with the kids. Like how, when you tell them all this stuff, like how are they comprehending with everything?
When I talk to kids, I talk to them about them, not about me. I don't matter. I tell you, I'm a speaker, fly around the world, been on stages with some of the biggest people on the planet. And I tell you, nobody cares about you. They care about what you can do for them.
Yeah.
So when I go to kids, even though they're excited to see me, I'm smart enough to know seeing me is not going to change their life. The information they get is going to change their life. So if this kid's living in a house with his drug addicts, I need to help him learn how to navigate that.
Absolutely.
If you're living in a house with gang members, you need to learn how to navigate that. If you have learning deficiencies, you need to learn how to navigate your life, not understand mine. So when I go talk to kids, I listen and I speak to their problems and to their trauma, not share them my glory.
Mm-hmm. So when you finally got it all figured out, or would you say you have it all figured out at your first 5 years?
I figured it out before I came home.
You figured it out before you came home.
Don't wait. I tell people, do not wait till you come home to try to figure it out. You're sitting in jail 5, 10, 15 years. Why aren't you figuring it out then?
Yeah. So you started out with real estate a little bit. You did some real estate, and then you got an opportunity. Talk about that a little bit.
I mean, I went to a seminar as a speaker. I'm good at motivating people. I'm good at encouraging people. So I got a call to come speak at a real estate conference. So I went to the conference. I gave my motivational speak. I knew nothing about real estate. But when I speak so empowering that people wanted me to be on their team. Hey, Dre, can you do a deal with me? I'm like, what are you talking about? They're talking to me in real estate terms. I'm saying flip, hold, buy, trip. I'm like, what are they talking about? They're talking Chinese to me. But then I came back the second week, and I just sat in the audience. And everybody remembered me from the week before. Everybody wanted me on their team because of my leadership and my communication skills. They were like, yo, we know what we know, but we don't have what you have.
Yeah.
So then I went back and spoke a second time. And I decided learning real estate. It wasn't hard. It's not a hard thing to learn.
So I know from the research that I've done, you don't try to give out too much legal advice.
I don't give out legal advice.
So what do you want to say to people who are either incarcerated or just came home and they are trying to figure out how can they get the better opportunities while having a record?
I have a record. I have probably like 20 felonies on my record. And to this day, I have a hard time renting apartments. To this day, I have a hard time. I can't go to Canada. But there's a lot of things that my record blocks me from. And the thing is, you have to own that. Stop waiting for the world to forgive you. You did it. You own it. Now move on. So what I did around my apartment situation is I opened up an LLC, which is a business, which took me about 10 minutes. I grew my business. Now my business will rent the apartment and I'll go live in it.
Wow.
My business will lease the car and I'll go live in it.
Yeah.
My business will make the deal and I'll go live in it. So there's ways around some of it, but not all of it. Some of the stuff you're just going to be stuck with. There's just some things and some people that'll never forgive you. and that's okay. It's their right. But if you're home, you just came home or you've been home for a while, you have to get a plan. You have to get a plan.
Yeah.
Have to get a plan. You have to get a plan. You can't just sit home and be like, oh, I want to do this today and try to run. Sit down, write it out, strategize it, and figure it out, and then run the play. And you have to be so uber focused and niche down to the point where it's so clear that anybody gets it. And you call it denying people. I call it being focused on people. So like you got this news show, right? So if you wanted to grow your news channel, so I would ask you, who's your primary audience, men or women?
Really, men.
Black or white?
White.
0 to 18, 18 to 35, 35 plus.
35 plus.
College, no college.
Mixed 50-50.
College, no college.
I can't. Well, I could say, I guess no.
No. Stop guessing.
College, well, I'm going based off actual data. I'm going based off actual data.
No, you're spinning. This is a simple question. Okay, college, no college.
No college.
Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? So now you work with white men, 35 plus, no college, live in the city. I can find him. I can find him. If you said, Dre, this is what I need. I need Latino, 18 to 25, single parent home, doesn't speak English well, wants to do engineering. You can find him. Does it mean you can't help a black kid? You can't help a white kid? You can't help a Spanish kid? You can't help a girl or boy? No, it doesn't mean that. But when you create your marketing, it has to be specific. It can't, if you're trying to help everybody, then you help nobody.
Yeah.
So if you had an F-150 truck, I'm going to give you an F-150 truck to sell. And I said, I'm going to give you a commercial. You want it on Monday Night Football or you want it on soap opera? Where you going to put the truck?
Football.
Why?
That's where men are watching.
If I give you a washing machine, where you going to put it? Monday Night Football or soap opera?
Monday Night Football.
A washing machine?
Okay, well, because football gets more views.
Who buys washing machines?
Yeah, the woman.
So where is she at?
She probably at a soap opera.
There are some men who watch soap operas and some women who watch football, but the numbers are the numbers.
Yeah.
So you say, okay, it's the math thing. There are more men watching football than women. They're 18 to 40, and so what product do they want? And you put it there.
Yeah.
And the same thing with cartoons. You look at the commercials for cartoons, they're for kids. So you have to be specific. In marketing, it's what is your demographic? Does it mean somebody else won't buy it? No. But you can't market to everybody. Nobody does that.
Yeah. So talk about you go to the prisons all over the country.
All over the world.
All over the world.
In Curacao, Bahamas, Jamaica, Kenya, Johannesburg, South Africa. We go Sweden.
Wow. So talk about just going into the prisons, coming from prison and now going into them to educate people and motivate them to better themselves.
I always tell people, like, how do you do it? I didn't have a bad time in prison. I did not. Other than the fact of being there, I was never in fear. I never had a problem. I never got beat up. I never got robbed. I was more the predator than the victim. So my prison time wasn't traumatic from the point of fear. So a lot of people go to jail and they live in fear. So they never want to step foot into prison again because it reminds them of their fear. For me, it was where I grew up. It was where I learned how to be a grown man and how to be focused and so I don't have a fear of prison. It's kind of like my journey. So me going back to prison is kind of like Michael Jordan going back to North Carolina. I'm saying that's where he grew up. That's where he made his name.
Yeah.
So I want to go in and give people the opportunity to be successful because success is not a success without a successor. Meaning I made it, but I'm only successful. I go back to where I came from and show those people how to make it too.
So now you're in the prisons, and how often do you go to different prisons? Is it every week thing or?
No, we got prisons in New York. We go to Monday through Friday.
Monday through talk about that. I mean, because we've seen some of your videos, and there's a lot of people who have done a lot of positive things with your words and your work. Talk about that a little bit.
Right now, we're going into Greenhaven prison Monday through Friday. Usually Monday, I just literally spent 55 days straight from November 15th to January 10th, every day. Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's, I was in prison every day from 9 to 9. 9 to 9 or 9 to 4 on the weekends. I went every single day. And I was in there building with the brothers, walk. If you're not willing to get in the mud, then you can't help somebody get out of the mud.
Yeah. So now with that going on, when do you get a break? I've seen you working all the time. You said you were on vacation before you started this interview, and now, I mean, you're working but not working. When do you get a break?
I take breaks. I like to travel. So I get on the plane. I might fly to Ethiopia, get on the plane, fly to Brazil, get on the plane, fly to Korea, get on the plane, fly to wherever, Curacao. So I take my breaks. For me to take a break, I got to leave the country.
Mm-hmm.
So I get on the plane, like they got Carnival coming up next month or this month, next week in Brazil. I'll probably fly to Brazil to go to Carnival. And for like 10 days, I'll be in Brazil. I'll be nobody, just another tourist at Carnival. Then I went to Italy last summer, went to the Colosseum, went to Venice, rode on the little boats. And I was just another random American tourist coming through Italy. Went to Ethiopia, that was fun. Went to Kenya. I mean, so when I go out of the country, I'm not Andre the international speaker. I'm not Andre the prison guy.
You just you.
Tourist.
You just you.
So they want to sell me a hat and a little portable fan. I like that.
Yeah. So we're getting ready to come to a close. Is there something that you want to say to motivate people who have been released from prison, maybe never went to prison, but they're just having hard times, people who are still incarcerated? Give them a little something.
I don't care if you run $100 million business or you just came out of prison and you're broke. You're enough. How do I know you're enough? You were created by ultimate entity. The thing that created you created everything, and everything in this world works. So you're here for a purpose. You're here for a reason. You're not here by mistake. You just have to find out your purpose. See, nature will tell you trees don't need to find out their purpose.
Yeah.
Fish don't need to find out their purpose. Birds don't need to find out their purpose. Because we have all this thinking capacity, try to out-talk ourselves from what our purpose truly is. Our purpose is to collaborate, to connect, and to make things better. That's our purpose. I'm saying we live in an ecosystem called the world. You are enough.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, you also need collaboration. God created the world. He created man. At the end of that, he realized, whoa, I missed something. There's no one for him to collaborate with. So he went back and he created a woman. So man had someone to collaborate with. That was the whole purpose. He shouldn't be alone. You shouldn't be alone. This isn't a church sermon. I'm the same. We were put here to collaborate with each other and make things better for you and for others. If you're down and you're stressed and you're struggling, even if you're homeless right now, go to a homeless shelter at another one where you're not from and serve some food.
Yeah.
If you're doing good, you're running $1 million company, go down to a soup kitchen, pass out some food. There's somebody out there who's struggling. And just because you have nice things or you don't have nice things is an indicator of what kind of person you are. I work with people. I don't work with things. So you having a nice suit on doesn't matter to me. You have a good heart, and do you want to help somebody with their good heart?
Now, we're coming to an end. Where can people, or people who are incarcerated or people who are not incarcerated, where can they reach you? Where can they write you?
Well, we have a community. It's a free community, secondchanceuniversity.com. You go to a website, it says join our free community. You can talk to me, not as often as you want, but you can send me messages. You can tap in, and we put all our information around reentry, around helping, support, depression, what is drug addiction. We keep it right there in Second Chance University. It's a free community. Sign up, come join us, and be part of, I'm saying, your healing and somebody else's healing.
Well, thank you for coming on GSL News. I'm Geoffery Rogers here with Andre Norman. You can find out more information on all of our social medias at GSL News or gslnews.com. I'll see you on the next one, and thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, sir.